Universal Peace Federation Asia Pacific Leadership Conference, providing vision and leadership for national building and peace. Greetings to our viewers and participants. A very warm welcome to Online Asia Pacific Leadership Conference, APLC. My name is Santosh Neupane. I'm the director of Universal Peace Federation Central Pacific. And it is my privilege to be your MC for this opening session. Today, March 19, 2022, marks the beginning of 11th APLC and will conclude in 3 weeks' time on April 9, 2022. First of all, let me give you the total number of participants from 8 different nations. The total number is 28. Truly amazing. Beside these 28 participants, there are 24 participants from Fiji participating face-to-face program in Peace Embassy of Universal Peace Federation under the guidance of Mr. Balami Burao and Ms. Iris Regalado. Technical team, could you please bring us to Peace Embassy in Fiji? And I'd like to request participants from Fiji in Peace Embassy, please wave your hands and greet our participants from all around the world in Asian Pacific. Thank you very much for your participation. I was with our participants in Peace Embassy half an hour before, where I gave them the introductory seminar and some kind of orientation for Universal Peace Federation. Now, this is time for our Universal Peace Federation sub-regional directors to introduce their participants. We start from Asia Pacific Region 1. We'd like to request Mr. Samat Jinul to introduce the participants from Central Pacific. Please, Mr. Samat.
Translation mode, so I need to move. Okay, good morning, dear leaders, Asia Pacific participants. So I'm really glad to see everyone to participate in this great and amazing and valuable conference about family values, about nation building. So we have participants from Kyrgyzstan, from Central Asia. So I hope this conference will be valuable and will be brings a lot of hope to everyone in this not easy time and difficult time of conflicts and war happening in the world. So I hope this seminar will give you a lot of power and strength and inspiration in order to we all together can make peace, starting from inside of us, from our family and to our society. Thank you very much.
So let us introduce participants from South Asia. I'd like to request Director Mr. Santosh Paudel to introduce his participants from South Asia. Mr. Paudel.
Thank you. Our director, Sir Santosh Neupane, moderator of this conference, virtual conference, Honorable Chairman, Dr. Robert S. Kittel, and Mrs. Ursula McLachlan. And also, I would like to really thank Mrs. Grace. So all our dear leaders of Asia Pacific 1, and Honorable Milan Rajbangshi from Member of Parliament from Nepal, and all dear participants. So thank you for joining this very valuable and virtual conference. And then today I would like to introduce our guest joining from South Asia, especially Nepal, in this 11th batch. So first of all, Mr. Prakash Adhikari is the chairman of Shubhakamna School, and they are joining together the couple, Mrs. Sumitra Dhimal Adhikari. She's acting as a principal in Shubhakamna School. So most of our guests are from very academic background. So Mr. Lakshman Oza, also very successful entrepreneur in Shikhra organization, and Mrs. Geeta Dhakal, and then from youth area, and Miss Bhagwati Dhakal, and Mrs. Asmita Upreti, and Miss Elina Thike, and Mr. Shobhaka Vandari from Nobel Academy. There are 4 great our educators that are joining: Mr. Deepak Bhatrai from same college, Mr. Raju Vandari, and Mr. Ganesh Resta. And then I am always admire our Mrs. Shivangi Shah, so supporting, and then joining from Nepal. So we very happy to hear your words today also. And then I really want to thank Mrs. Surina Gurung and Mr. Surendra Shrestha for always supporting this virtual conference. Thank you, and all the best, and good luck. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paudel. Now representing India, thank you, Mr. Paudel. Now representing India, please welcome Mr. Krishna Adhikari, the director of UPF in India, to introduce his participants. Mr. Adhikari.
Hey, very warm good morning to our moderator and Dr. Robert Eskitel, Ursula Mann, and all our sub-regional director and all the participants of Asia Pacific Leadership Conference Batch 11. So it's my honor as a coordinator of APLC in India. So from India this time we have 4 participants. I'd like to welcome our health educator, Ms. Samita Barao. Thank you very much for joining. And we have our youth activists. We have 3 youth activists, Sahadev Ghosh, Bipul Malla, and Nilanjan Sharma. So I'd like to welcome you. And we have joined by previous APLC participant also. And those who could not able to join, they are joining our opening session. So I'd like to welcome all the persons from India. Welcome you all in our APLC Batch 11. Thank you very much for joining, and hope you will graduate this APLC program. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Birendra Shrestha, for representing Mr. Adhikari and introducing your guest from India. I believe we do not have anyone from Mekong region this time. Anyway, I'm to introduce Mr. Hajime Saito, the director of UPF in Mekong region. Next will be Asia Pacific region 2, representing Southeast Asia region. Please put our hands together to welcome Dr. Julius Malikdam to introduce his participants from Southeast Asia region. Dr. Malikdam.
Thank you very much, Director Santos Nyupani from Fiji. My greetings from the Philippines and mabuhay to everyone. And special greetings to Dr. Kittel, our co-chair of UPF, Vice Chairman of UPF Asia Pacific, Dr. Venus Agustin, and also Secretary General, Mrs. Ursula Maclaclan, all the chapter, UPF chapter directors and leaders. Thank you for joining us on this very special 11th batch of our online Asia Pacific Leadership Conference. This APLC is first that we are conducting this year, 2022, and especially this is being held after the very successful World Summit. So this is very meaningful, particularly with the challenges that the world is facing now. Then our study of peace principles become more meaningful for all our stakeholders and leaders. This time, I would like to welcome all the 6 registered participants from the Philippines. I hope more participants will be coming from Southeast Asia as they could still catch up. Special mention to Madam Helen De Leon, Department of Education Supervisor from Zamboanga Peninsula Region, Region 9. And also I see here Mrs. Rebecca Andrade. She is the Secretary General of PWPA, Professors World Peace Academy in the Philippines. And I'm so happy because I see a lot of women leaders who are joining us in this 11th batch. Particularly Marx is really Women's Month. March 8th, we just celebrated International Women's Day. So although it's a bit late, but happy International Women's Day to all our lady women participants. So let's have a great 11th batch of APLC. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Malikdam. Now this is time to introduce the guest from Oceania. Since Reverend Yutaka Yamada, the director of Oceania, UP of Oceania, is not here together with us, I would like to introduce the guest from Oceania today by myself. We have two guests from Fiji, registered guests from Fiji, participating together with us from the beautiful city of Nandi in Fiji as a couple, Rocky Kumar and his wife. We have a participant from Tuvalu, a small island nation of Tuvalu. We have participants from Papua New Guinea. We have 3 participants from Australia. Plus, we have 24 participants, offline participants participating from Fiji. Let's welcome the participants from Oceania. Thank you very much. My apology. I want to recognize the presence of Dr. Robert S. Kittel, the Senior Advisor of Universal Peace Federation in Asia Pacific, plus he's the Education Director for UPF in Asia Pacific in our program here. I'm very much sorry for introducing at this moment, sir. Of course, also I want to introduce Mrs. Ursula McLachlan, the Secretary General of Universal Peace Federation in Asia Pacific. I'd like to introduce the presence of Dr. Dr. Venus Augustine, the Vice Chairman of Universal Peace Federation in Asia Pacific. Dr. Venus Augustine. Okay, sorry. So now this is the time for the opening remarks. It's truly a great honor to welcome all our participants coming from different parts of the Asia Pacific. As we believe that we are one family under God, we are here in this opening session today. It's time for opening remarks. Honorable Eknath Dhakal, Chair of UPF and IAPP Asia Pacific, was supposed to give us opening remarks today, but due to his unavoidable schedule, he could not be with us today. So on behalf of him, Mrs. Ursula McLachlan, Secretary General of UPF, Universal Peace Federation Asia Pacific, will give us opening remarks. Let's welcome Mrs. McLachlan.
Thank you very much, Reverend Santosh Neopane. And on behalf of Honorable Eknath Dhakal, our chair of the UPF in the Asia Pacific, I want to extend his warmest welcome and greetings to all of you for signing up on this really important course on leadership, on the vision and leadership for nation building and peace. This is a topic very close to our chairman's heart and really close to the heart of our founders, Dr. And Mrs. Sun Myung Moon and Dr. Hak Cha Han Moon. And I think you will find that this course will be very, very rewarding. Actually, at this time, really critical time where the world is shocked by the violence that is going on in the Ukraine. And I think every soul, every heart, every person around the world is thinking, what can we do? How can we stop this senseless and really cruel destruction of human life, of property, of infrastructure? And what can also UPF do and contribute to the peaceful resolution of this conflict? And I think when you go through this course and you study the principles of peace building, you will be able to see that Father and Mother Moon's guidance is always that we have to look at the world from not just a human perspective, but really from God, our Creator's perspective, who looks at humankind with the heart of a heavenly parent who loves all his children, even those who are right, but also those who are wrong. They are still his children. And he doesn't want us to kill each other. He wants to educate those who do wrong and to be reformed and to change. And that has been really our founder's heart, Mother Moon. This is the vision she shared with the top leaders of the world in the very recent World Summit for Peace that was held in Korea just 1 week before the war in Ukraine started. And she has, her words, her vision and guidance really deeply influenced these world leaders. Altogether, 85 current and former heads of state and government came to give their views. They listened to Mother Moon's guidance. And these peace ambassadors are taking now an active role. For example, the president of Senegal, Macky Sall, His Excellency Macky Sall, he personally called Putin and spoke to him for over 30 minutes, encouraging him, asking him to please stop the bloodshed and find a peaceful resolution of the conflict through dialogue. He spoke not only on behalf of his own country, Senegal, but actually he's also currently the chair of the Africa Union. So he really spoke and pleaded with Putin on behalf of the entire African Union. And another close peace ambassador, the former president of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan, he is now the envoy, the crisis envoy for the African Union. So all these peace ambassadors are doing their best. Even the Prime Minister Hun Sen of Cambodia. If you know Cambodia's political alliances, people at the UN expected Cambodia to vote in favor of Russia, but himself, Prime Minister Hun Sen, having really close association with Mother Moon, and Mother Moon actually shared with him Father and Mother Moon's principles for peace building. And looking for a win-win situation, he even at the UN, Cambodia supported the Ukraine. Actually, that was a stunning turnaround, you know. And so we can see that these global events initiated and organized by the UPF have tremendous influence and even helped the UN, where we heard reports that even so many workers at the UN, officials at the UN, they feel so disheartened and so disappointed that how limited the UN is in preventing and solving this conflict. And so world leaders are now looking up to UPF to help and support the efforts for peace. Of course, not only in the Ukraine, but throughout the world. But I think nowadays, really world attention is what can we do to help the people in Ukraine and stop further bloodshed. And I hope that when you study this course, you will really learn and understand. We will share with you also now the really the resolutions, the discussions at the recent World Summit 2022 that took place in Korea, and discussing how also the violent conflict between North and South Korea, you know, until now there has been no peace treaty yet, how that can be resolved peacefully rather than escalating. And so Honorable Ignat really wishes you great success in completing this course and getting many valuable lessons, how you can become a peacemaker, how you can join the ranks of our ambassadors for peace who will help to make a change in this world. So let us now listen to these discussions in the World Summit 2022 and really get encouraged at these difficult times by listening to world leaders who really want to work for change together, hand in hand. Thank you very much.
Global leaders recently came together in Seoul during World Summit 2022 for peace on the Korean Peninsula, an annual summit calling for an end to the Cold War's last remaining division and the reunification of the Korean Peninsula.
존경하는 지도자 여러분, 한 방울의 물들이 모여 대를 이루듯 이러한 평화와 통일의 여정들을 통해 그동안 인연된 수많은 정상급 지도자들을 모시고 오늘부터 2월 14일까지 한반도 평화 서밋을 개최하게 되었습니다.
The summit's host, Universal Peace Federation co-founder Dr. Hak Ja-han Moon and co-chairs Cambodia Prime Minister Hun Sen and former United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon joined some 85 world leaders representing more than 70 nations who addressed millions of people participating virtually throughout the world.
나와 하나 되는 남과 북이 형제가 되는 자리에서 세계 평화, 통일이 우리 시대에 당대에 이루어질 수 있습니다.
The in-person summit ran from February 11th to the 13th following COVID-19 pandemic guidelines. Using groundbreaking, state-of-the-art virtual technology, the program aired from 3,500 media outlets worldwide, with leaders engaging 157 countries with diplomatic ties to North and South Korea.
What we learned through this challenging time in my country and around the planet is that there's nothing that's impossible when nations work together for the common good. That said, the dream of a united Korea is possible.
Peace on Korean Peninsula has a symbolic meaning for all of us because Cold War divided East Germany, West Germany, South Yemen, North Yemen, South Vietnam, North Vietnam. All the other nations reunited again. Today we have one Germany, one Yemen, one Vietnam. But Cold War is continuing only on Korean Peninsula. It is now time for a new era on Korean Peninsula.
We are all for peace. The question is, what are we prepared to do in order to make it possible?
Many world leaders spoke to their own nation's history of peace building, including Senegal President Macky Sall, who is chairman of the African Union.
Elle ne s'offre pas comme une évidence par elle-même. Elle se cultive dans le jardin du courage, de la confiance et du dialogue.
There is much stronger power than defense and diplomatic power. That is human relationship. We could call this sort of human relationships as peace power. Let's push forward this peace power.
Speakers highlighted challenges to peace, like resistance to denuclearization, foreign troops in South Korea, strained relations in the Asia-Pacific region, and core Korean differences in leadership and values.
The human race will move forward to safety, to prosperity, and to freedom only if good people take the time, show the courage, and get involved.
The first summit with Kim Jong-un in June 2018 appeared to build on the sense of goodwill that negotiations between the South and North had achieved. But words are one thing, real progress is quite another.
Summit speakers offered a range of solutions, including the encouragement of new friendships with the North Korean people through trade, tourism, and cultural exchanges.
Probably the next most exciting country in the world is going to be Korea. When we open the 38th parallel, there's going to be enormous change and excitement here.
I especially want to thank Dr. Hak Ja-han Moon for her outstanding commitment to the cause of peace. Please join me in working, striving, and praying for a Korea that is safe, prosperous, flourishing, united, and finally at peace.
We need collectively, all of us, to come together to champion the human rights of the people in North Korea. And you know what? We can do that peacefully using every diplomatic channel available. A unified Korea would show the world that anything is possible.
The summit, spearheaded by Dr. Moon and her late husband, Reverend Sun Myung Moon's vision of reunifying their homeland, has drawn the support of key leaders throughout the world in virtual audiences participating in numerous countries. The summit also featured the Sunhak Peace Prize ceremony, which honored Dame Professor Sarah Gilbert of Oxford University and Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, as the 2022 laureates for their contributions during the COVID-19 pandemic.
I had the great privilege to work with many experts to make the vaccine widely available as fast as we could. It is now in use in at least 170 countries, and over 2.5 billion doses have been produced. We must increase the number of manufacturing facilities around the world as part of ensuring a more equitable supply of vaccines in the future.
Making the world better for future generations is a shared goal, and I'd like to commend Dr. Hak Ja Moon for your tireless work turning this ambition into a reality.
Cambodia Prime Minister Hun Sen received the Founders Award for his support and leadership in promoting peace in Southeast Asia. He said North and South Korea need to swiftly conclude a peace treaty, noting his country's own history of division that ended 20 years ago thanks to what he called the best choice of dialogue, stating, "We cannot choose war to end war." Dr. Moon launched the Sunhak Peace Prize in 2013 to honor the legacy of her husband. The biennial award recognizes laureates for their extraordinary service to global peace in sustainable human development, conflict resolution, or ecological conservation. Political, civic, and faith leaders all expressed their support of Dr. Moon and UPF's dedicated efforts toward reunifying the Korean Peninsula.
I commend Dr. Hak Ja Moon, the founder of UPF, and her team for their continuous advocacy for sustainable peace in the world.
The work of the UPF is quite meaningful because through this robust platform, we can lay the initial groundwork that allows the path to peace.
Leaders convened the final day, sharing more global encouragement, advice, and prayers for the advancement of peace and unity on the peninsula and throughout the world.
We know that true peace can only fully be achieved with faith. And I pray that our efforts will have great achievement and we will see the reunification as one Korean people.
Lo que para nosotros parece un imposible, para Dios es posible. La oración sigue siendo el mejor arma que tenemos para que vuelva la paz entre las Coreas, en todo el mundo.
Leaders emphasized the importance of international cooperation and focusing on God to usher in a new era of peace. World Summit 2022 concluded with a virtual 1 million person rally for peace, with 12 simultaneous live rally events happening throughout South Korea, which streamed to the world, ensuring Korea's voting public knows the international community is behind them. The 2022 South Korea presidential election on March 9th is expected to be the tightest race in 20 years. You can learn more and get involved with World Summit 2022 by registering online.
Thank you very much for this video, the technical team. Here, I would like to recognize the presence of Honorable Dr. Joel Releve from Philippines, the City Councilor of Marikina City in Philippines. Welcome to our APLC, sir. I would also like to acknowledge the presence of Honorable Milan Rajbangsi from Nepal, the Member of Constitution Assembly in Nepal. Welcome, Honorable Milan. I would like to also acknowledge the presence of Mr. Gregory Stone, the Secretary General of UPF in Oceania here. Thank you very much, Mr. Greg Stone, for evaluating yourself to this program. Now this is time for congratulatory remarks. We have Ms. Shivangi Saha Singh from Nepal to deliver her congratulatory remarks to all our participants here today. Ms. Singh is Director of Travel Design Tours and Travel Nepal. She is an Ambassador for Peace, successful entrepreneur on tourism sector, and a very active woman entrepreneur. Let us welcome Ms. Singh to deliver her congratulatory remarks. Ms. Singh, you're welcome here.
Shall I start?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Good morning to the leaders around the world. Dr. Robert Skittle, Senior Advisor and Director of Education, Mrs. Ursula McLachlan, Honorable Eknath Dhakal, Chairperson UPF and IAPP Asia Pacific. Unfortunately, today is not present, but I hope he'll be watching this video. Mr. Santosh Kumar Paudel, South Asia Regional Director, Honorable Milan Rajbangsi, my dear friend Surina Gurum, and including the different persona leaders around the world. I am Shivangi from Nepal to wish a huge congratulations to all the participants of 11th batch of Asia Pacific Leadership Conference for your dedication and presence. My graduation journey of 6th batch transformed me into a responsible citizen. Your effort, your presence, your passions are essential and have given us the motivation to celebrate today. The divine principle of Dr. Sun Myung Moon and Dr. Hak-ja Han Moon about marriage, blessings, unification, religions, family, individuals, character, and many more other examples to be implicated in our daily life to be a good human being. True parents have taught us to have patience and to give and to forgive, flourish love among each other. Thus, I hereby conclude with all the positivity of true parents that they have sacrificed to make our happy world today. With all the love and pride, I wish the participant best for the future that lies ahead. May you gain success in life. Thank you and good day.
Thank you very much, Ms. Singh, for your short and very heartfelt message. Thank you very much once again. Respected leaders, viewers, and participants, this is one of the most important time for today. We'd like to take a moment to capture your participation today by having a group photo. Please turn on your video, your video so that everyone could see all the handsome and beautiful face. We'll have 3 poses as we have quite a number of people here. It might take a little while. First pose, let us greet each other by waving our hands while we take the picture. And we can make a small heart. If you are with your couple, you can make a heart together and I'm alone, or we can make a single heart. Yeah, finally, let us show our determination to complete the APLC course, and let us send our congratulations to each other in advance by clapping our hands. Are we done? Thank you very much. Thank you very much for everyone for your cooperation. Your presence has made this opening session even more meaningful and more beautiful. We hope we'll manage to capture all these we have managed to capture all the beautiful faces, and we'll see this face during our graduation ceremony also. Now this is time for congratulatory dance performance. At this point, today, we have a very special performance from Kyrgyzstan. It is a Kyrgyzstan national dance. Without further delay, let's enjoy and welcome them an energetic virtual applause.
Wow. Very beautiful. Amazing.
Oh, such an amazing performance. Congratulations, Kyrgyzstan's talents. Thank you very much for this wonderful presentation. Dear leaders, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take some time to introduce Mr. Asefa Bakalele from Blacktown City Council, NSW in Australia. Welcome to our APLC, sir. I would also like to acknowledge the presence of Madam Leilam JP, Emeritus Mayor of Owen City in NSW in Sydney, in Australia. Welcome to our program. Thank you very much. Now, this is time for one of the most important schedule for today's APLC. We're moving on. I would like to welcome a very respected person, Dr. Robert S. Kittel, who will give us the first presentation of APLC lecture series. Dr. Robert Kittel, his remarkable experience, wisdom, and way of life has continued to inspire many of us to learn more about the universal principle. When I talk about Dr. Robert Kittel is a scholar, who has done his doctorate degree from University of Bridgeport in America in 2004. He's specialized in family values-based education for teenagers. He has lived and worked in Asia since 1975. The first time I met Dr. Kittel was probably in 2001 in Nepal, I guess. Currently, he's living with his wife in Philippines. They have 2 lovely daughters and 1 grandchild. Dr. Kittel is currently the Director of Education, Universal Peace Federation Asia Pacific. Let us welcome Dr. Walsh with warm round of clap. Sorry, Dr. Kittel, sorry. Dr. Kittel, let us welcome Dr. Kittel. It's your floor, sir. Dr. Kittel, sorry.
Thank you, Santosh. The spirit of Dr. Walsh must be with me, and that's a good thing. So thank you for that warm and kind introduction.
I believe so. Welcome.
Yeah. I have a question. When you watched the video of the UPF World Summit, did you see your head of state in that video? If the answer is no, then you have homework. Because surely we want to invite them and surely they will come. I have a second question. Many of you registered, but did you pay your $30? Maybe not yet, but let me ask you, if you like these presentations at the end so that we can continue, then please do consider making this donation at the end. Even graduates from the 6th batch, yes? Okay. Everybody. All right, let's begin. We have a lot to talk about, and I'm honored and grateful to be here. I will share with you my video, PowerPoint presentation, if I can. There we go, and I'll launch this. And thank you. Asia Pacific Leadership Conference, providing vision and leadership. Vision and leadership. Vision and leadership. Vision alone, not enough, and without vision, there is no leadership. Vision and leadership for building peace. This is the photograph that Reverend Santosh talked about. He said he was at the Peace Embassy in Fiji, and these are the people that had not yet had time to register. They're the really kind of educators, and he's got some VIPs, he's got young students, a very good mix of people. So that means the total number in this batch is now 52. And we expect 52 graduates. Please do your best. We have the open ceremony today. We will have 2 open forums, March 26th and April 2nd. And the graduation, again, 52, maybe even more, because some people might register late. We heard that from the Philippines. So we're expecting even more than 52. Let's everybody try. This is your determination. Set your determination now, and you have 2 weeks. A little bit of background of our program. As you know, it is really studying the principles of peace that Father and Mother Moon have discovered. This is important because they come from Asia, not from the West. I don't believe these teachings could have come from the mind or heart of a Western individual, or in this case, a Western couple. It really takes an Asian vision, Asian heart, and we are lucky to have that. First of all, the need for universal principles. If you want to be an architect, the first thing you do is study the principle of architecture. Otherwise, your building might tilt or fall down. No good. Don't violate those principles. If you want to be an electrical engineer, study the principles of electricity. If you violate the principles, that building may burn down. You want to be a civil engineer? Go to school, study hard, get your degree, get your certificate, because if you're a civil engineer and you build a bridge, that bridge falls down, you will be held responsible. Everything has principles behind it. You want to cook a turkey dinner? You need 3 things. How big is the turkey? How hot is the oven? And how much time will I keep that turkey in the oven? And you think, no, I can do it. I can just wing it. No pun intended, but I'll wing it. Well, if you don't follow the principles, your guests will be disappointed, and you too. So be careful. Follow the principles. The atoms follow the principles. The solar system follows the principles. If you want to fly an airplane, you need to understand and apply principles of aerodynamics. You can't do it without the principles. So what about peace? This is really the question that we're talking about today. Yes, we dream of peace. Yes, we see peace in nature. Is that enough? No. Do we have peace in our human relationships? The answer is clearly no, not enough. Look at the world around you. So to solve this problem, if we want peace, we must understand the principles of peace, because it won't happen otherwise. It will not happen. Nada, not possible. We need to understand and then live by these principles. Kofi Annan, former UN Secretary General, said universal values, universal principles are also more acutely needed in this age of globalization than ever before, because we're interacting now on a second-by-second basis. So we need principles with which we can interact harmoniously. A Jewish thinker, writer, scholar, and internet sensation in the West, Dennis Prager, without shared values, how does a society survive? It doesn't. And that's the point. We have to, we should not just be desperate to solve the Ukraine problem, but we should be desperate to find these universal values that we can then use to apply not only in Ukraine, but globally. What are these universal principles? First, what are the criteria? What should these principles do? What is the criteria? Let's be serious and be very, very serious. They must be universal. It means these principles that you will be studying, they will apply everywhere. It doesn't matter where you live, Africa, Asia, or America. They're universal. It doesn't matter what time frame you lived in, the past, present, or the future. These principles will apply. They are universal. They will also apply to the individual, the family, the society, the nation, and the world. We cannot have a different set of principles. Well, one set applies to me, and another to my family, and we need another set for the society. No, they have to be the same. So they have to be scalable. They have to be scalable. They must apply in all cultures and all religions. They must. So Father Moon had this book written, looking for these universal concepts and principles, called World Scripture. It's about 800 pages. It's a research book, but it shows the commonality of the world's religions. And when Father Moon wrote The Divine Principle, this is what he said. This is kind of like the mission statement of what Father Moon is doing. This was the first book that has led this entire global movement. This one sentence explains everything. This truth must be able to embrace all historical religions, ideologies, and philosophies, and bring complete unity among them. That's what his goal is. That's why he's written this book. That's why his effort on this global stage until his last breath. And now his wife is taking on that mission. So if these teachings that you will be studying are universally true, then they should help you to be a better Christian or Jew or Buddhist or Confucianist or Hindu or Muslim. It doesn't matter. These principles are embedded in all religions and therefore transcendent. Embedded in all religions and transcendent of all religions. That makes them universal. So you do not need to change your religion. It's not necessary, because these principles are already there. And if you find them and discover them, then they will help you be connected on a much larger scale, even to other religions. Don't get too comfortable, because you do need to change some things. You need to change your attitude, your priority, your behavior, your character, and we together need to change our culture. So we have a lot of work to do, but changing our religion, that's not one of the things that we need to do. Goodness is there, huh? That's good. So the final thing is these principles, they apply everywhere, beyond time and space, scalable in all cultures, and they must be scientific and logical and very, very simple, so that the farmer who may not be able to read or write, if you teach him these principles, yeah, that's right, this is true. And the PhD at the university, if you teach him these principles, yeah, I would like to write a book about them. And that's the nature of these principles. So Sir Isaac Newton did not discover gravity, he just explained it. And we say, well, he's a genius. I believe that Father Moon is also a genius because he discovered these principles. He didn't invent them, God made them, but he explained them more clearly than anyone ever before. So what are these universal principles? How many are there? You may be surprised. There are two universal principles that are unchanging and absolute. They're eternal, and they are really ubiquitous. They apply everywhere. The dual purpose principle of mind and body, and we'll explain that this is the fundamental essence of goodness. And then the pair system principle, everything is created in pairs. And in our human society, men and women. And this is the essence of true love. So these are what we need. We need to be good people, and we need to create relationships of true love. That's it. That's it. But let's talk about the first one first. The dual purpose principle. This is vertical, the mind and the body. And in the relationship of mind and body, it's a vertical relationship. So we call this the pillar. And when you build a building, the first thing you do is put in the pillars. And if you want that building strong, those pillars have to be straight, 90 degrees, perpendicular, not 89 or 91. No, 90 degrees, straight. And they have to be perpendicular. They have to be strong. Then your building can be tall, and you can have many floors on top of the building. This is how it works. This is the vertical pillar. Starts with the mind and body. They are aligned correctly, where the mind gives direction to the body. The mind is more public. It can interact publicly. We have the 4 of the senses are in this area of the mind. Then the individual who has his mind and body aligned correctly lives for the greater good, his family. Those families, they're good families, they live for the sake of the community. And the community lives for the sake of the nation lives for the sake of the world, and ultimately we live for this cosmic consciousness, or we live for the sake of God. So this is how it works. We build good character by aligning our mind and body correctly, but that's not enough just to align the mind and body. Then we must live for the sake of the family also. And then we become a filial son or daughter, a good child. And our family is good. Well, then we have to also, next one is live for the sake of the community. We become a good citizen. We pay taxes and we follow the law. Law-abiding, tax-paying citizen. Wow, then we are contributing to the community. The community then lives for the sake of the nation, and we become a loyal patriot. Patriots, like the filial child and the good citizen, they're willing to sacrifice for the sake of the nation. In some cases, even give their life for the sake of the nation. And the world, well, we need to be global-minded citizens and ultimately children of God, who becomes the parent, and we become a global family. So to solve the problem in Ukraine, this is how simple it is to solve. Right here. Vladimir Putin is a patriot. I think he loves Russia. I think he really loves his country, and he's willing to sacrifice for his country. We can see that. The problem is that as a patriot, he needs to also live for the next greater good. He needs to become a global-minded citizen. He needs to also live for the sake of the world. Just as the filial child of good character must also live for the sake of their family. So this was taught by Gandhiji, and it's inscribed in sandstone in the Rajghat in Delhi on the Eastern Gate, facing the Jumuna River. Gandhi said, I would like to see India free and strong, and this applies to any country. How do you do it? The individual being pure sacrifices himself for the family. That's the beginning point. That's the seed. That's why the family is so important. This is the first time you learn to live for others. It's called love. You love your parents. You love your brothers and sisters. You're willing to sacrifice. You want to sacrifice. Then the family sacrifices for the village for the district for the province for the nation for all. I want Khudai Raj. Same thing as the kingdom of God on earth. This is the formula. This is what Gandhi ji was talking about. And it cost him his life because he lived that principle. So it's a ladder that we want to climb, and you have to keep going to the next rung or the next level of the ladder. It means what? Sacrifice always for the greater good. That's the universal principle. What it means is the hierarchy of goodness. And that vertical tradition needs to be established. Each of us have a responsibility to learn it within ourselves, within our families, and then at higher levels of society, nation, and world. This is the principle. It's so simple. It's why the first step is so important. Children honor their parents. They're living for the sake of someone greater than themselves. They obey their parents. They honor their parents. That's the beginning point. Father Moon's motto, live for the sake of others. That's how he lived his life. And Mother Moon is now inheriting, and we're grateful she is continuing that tradition. The second principle, well, we have the pillar, then you have the beam. And you put in the pillars and you put in the beams, and then what do you have? You have pillars and beams, and you have a structure. And the strongest relationship between people is love. And the love that I believe is the strongest is the magnetism between a man and a woman. It comes together and they join together. They conceive new life out of that love. So that child is conceived in love. The woman carries the child for 9 months in love, wanting not to harm the child, being very careful what she eats, what she does, even what she thinks. And then the child is born, and the child is born into the arms of loving parents. The pillar and the beam, those are the structure, fundamental structure, pillars and beams. You can put the curtain and the carpet wherever you want to. You can put stairs or elevator wherever you want to. You cannot change the pillars and beams. They are unchangeable. If you change them, then the building will fall down. We have to be very careful. And the building can be used for many functions. It could be apartment building that people live in. It could be a government office building. It could be a school. It could be, anything that you want. But the pillars and beams do not change. These are the fundamental principles. The pillars and beams make that structure strong. If you remove those pillars and beams, that building will implode. And that applies to the character of individual peoples. If you don't have the mind and body aligned correctly, the character of that person will implode. If those pillars and beams are not in the family, that family will implode. If they're not in society, the nation, or the world. And what we're doing now is struggling to put these universal principles into the global order of things. And this is what Mother Moon is doing. This is what the World Summit has done. This is what people that attend our program, and they just feel something different. They change their attitude, their priorities change. And with the education, even more. These universal principles are like the diamond that never scratches, the gold that never rusts. They are unchanging. And again, as I say, they are embedded in all religions and transcendent, embedded and transcendent. So you don't need to change your faith. Religious practice is important. So we should all encourage each other. Muslims should encourage Buddhists or Hindus and vice versa to be religious people. Just practicing your religion, whatever it is, they have documented your mental health will be better, physical health, marital stability and happiness, educational achievements, economic stability, charitable giving, work ethics, resistance to substance abuse, especially teenagers, lowering of crime rates, family relationships will be stronger. Wow, let's encourage each other. Let's encourage each other to be religious practitioners of our own faith, not change and compete and condemn and criticize. That won't work. We have to encourage each other. We have to encourage each other. So my question is, which is more important, the pillar or the beam? Well, the answer is very simple, and it's very important. If you look at nature, nature has pillars and beams, trunk and branch. Which is bigger? Well, here the trunk is bigger. The oak tree, the mighty oak tree. Look at that. Which is bigger, the trunk or the branch? Trunk. This is the redwood tree, lives 1,000 years, never disease infiltrate this oak tree. Live for 1,000 years. The trunk or the branch? Obviously the trunk. So in our model, we have trunk and branch, or pillar and beam, or we can say ladder and bridge. Man, each man has a mind and body. Guess what? Each woman also has a mind and body. So this principle, the dual purpose principle of mind and body, is more fundamental because it's in both men and women. It's more fundamental. So this teaches us something very important. My character is more important than my gender. Gender is important, but character is more important. Wow. We can solve how many problems just by this already, especially in Western society. There is so much confusion on this particular point in Western society. So the dual purpose principle of mind and body is we live for the greater good. We live for the sake of others. And the pair system principle of man and woman, we honor marriage, the institution of marriage. And you will study these two principles throughout the series of presentations. They will be applied within an interfaith context. They will be applied in identifying the social problem context. They will be applied in a historical context, and they will be applied to show you what you can do to help improve your relationships within your own family. These two principles are in the family. They're both there. And therefore, Father Moon's effort is really to strengthen the family. This is his peace initiative strategy, his global peace initiative. Fundamentally, ultimately, we each need to have stable, strong, loving families, and then we need to have this family environment globally as well, where we become one family under God globally. Doesn't matter our skin color differences, doesn't matter our racial differences, our religious differences, or even political differences. We are ultimately one family under God. So Father Moon said this, the breakdown of the family, this is UPS statement. The breakdown of the family contributes to a wide range of social problems. By strengthening the family, we can build a stronger base of social capital that will enhance the overall quality of life for everyone. That's the strategy that we're doing. The United Nations has sustainable development goals. They are wonderful and good, but just setting up a goal and a timeline is not enough. What are the principles of sustainability? Fundamentally, it's living for the sake of others. So we have the sustainable development goals. Well, in order to have sustainable development goals, you need sustainable families. History has shown us this. The family collapses, then that society will ultimately collapse. Who is it? Arnold Toynbee, British historian, world historian, looked at all of the civilizations of history, around 21. And he said 19 of the 21 civilizations in history collapsed because of moral degradation from within. Wow. In order to have sustainable families, the root of that is sustainable marriages. And like anything else, it's good to have a model to work with. Here's a model. This couple has been misunderstood, persecuted, betrayed, and had his character assassination on a global level. He's Asia, yet he went to America and he got slammed, but he never gave up. And this couple, that relationship must have come under tremendous stress, but it's unbreakable. Mother Moon stood by Father Moon for 52 years, and she is continuing his legacy. This is why Father and Mother Moon really take this global position we call true parents. And I would suggest during this time, first complete the course. Either during that or afterwards, please read these two books. They're simple and yet very powerful. Read them slowly. Just one chapter will take maybe 10 minutes a day. Father Moon's autobiography, A Peace-Loving Global Citizen, and Mother Moon's memoir, Mother of Peace. Please get them and please read them. Later on, that will be your postgraduate studies, and then you can get a PhD in Principles of Peace. In the next presentation, it will be shown that these principles can be observed in all aspects of life. They are found in science, religion, all religions, philosophy, sociology, civil rights, politics, economics, psychology, and in everyday life. Understanding these principles will offer significant insight into issues such as the purpose of life, the existence of the spiritual world, the interconnectedness of responsibility and freedom, the value of the family, and the root cause of human conflict and suffering. Get a time chart, get a calendar, put it on your Google Calendar, put an alarm there. You have 2 dates. The next 2 days, actually you have 3, but I'm going to give you just the 2. The open forum, I want to see you again on Saturday, March 26th, same time, 10 a.m. Bangkok time. And the second open forum, again Saturday, same time, 10 a.m. Bangkok on April 7th. Put these dates in your calendar. Use them as earmarks as you go forward. Thank you very much for your time and attention. I have very much enjoyed being with you. Of course, I want to be with you in person, but this is better than not. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Robert Kittel.
Santosh, we can see the Fiji participants now. They're live. Let's have the tech team. Can you put the Fiji participants on the Zoom? Put them up, number 1. Highlight them. What do you call it? Focus on them. Fiji participants. Give them a full screen.
Okay. Fiji participants, please open them from there. Bula from Fiji. Bula, Nisam Bula from Fiji. So next
way
week,
to do it. And they're going to stand together, all together as they go through the course.
Okay, please make sound. Please greet from Fiji. Bula. Again. Bula. Vinaka. Thank you very much. Okay, so next week we'll be going to their village. And then it's almost 50 kilometers far from our PCMSC. So we'll be going to their village and we'll have a 2-day workshop there. So we have already downloaded all the lectures. So we'll be watching together and we'll have a lot of time to interact, question answer, and many other things to do. Also, there is a primary school in their village where we will be building a sick bed for the students who become sick during the school hour. So they don't have the sick bed there. So we'll support to build a sick bed there. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Robert Kittel. Yes, we are with these universal principles. As Dr. Robert Kittel is one of the main educators of UPF, I'm sure his face will become even more familiar to our new participants as they will go on with their learning. So now this is time that our technical team will announce so how to log on and study the lectures in this Universal Peace Federation portal, the online portal. So it's time for technical team. Technical team, please play the video how to log on and use the portal. Thank you very much.
Hello there. In this video, I will walk you through the step-by-step process of our APLC registration and login. To register, in the address bar of your web browser, type in www.aphc-cyberschool.com or scan this QR code flashed on your screen. You will be directed to the APLC homepage. Click the Sign Up button at the top right corner of your screen. Then, provide all the necessary information requested and click Submit. Congratulations! You are now registered. Please be reminded that you will only be officially enrolled after participating in the opening session, which will also give you access to the recorded sessions. To log in the address bar of your web browser, type in www.aphc-cyberschool.com or click the link provided. Click the login button located at the top right side of the site to proceed. Enter your email address and password and click Login. Please note that your password is the same as your email address. Go to My Courses to be found in the upper right corner of your screen. Then click the Start Lesson button of your current APLC batch. You are now ready to start your lessons. Click the Section 2 Educational Content and start with Lesson 1. There will be an open forum and Q&A session via Zoom. Schedules are provided on the website. Remember, case studies are additional content. You may choose to watch 3 topics only among the 4 recorded videos. For you to receive an e-certificate, you must fill out the evaluation form. After accomplishing the evaluation form, click the Submit button. Congratulations! Your course is done. Please wait until the scheduled closing session of your batch. Forum section participants can post questions and comments. And that is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and we wish you all the best experiences with APLC.
Dear participants, brothers and sisters, we are almost at the closing of this today's opening session. In closing, I'd like to invite all of you to our open forum and question and answers on the March 26th and April 2nd, and definitely during our graduation on April 9th. So our open forums on Saturday, March 26th, 2022 at 10 a.m. Bangkok time. The second open forum is on April 2nd, 2022 at 10 a.m. Bangkok time. And our closing and the graduation session will be Saturday, April 9, 2022 at 10 a.m. Bangkok time. Before we close this program, I would like to acknowledge the presence of one of the hardworking leader who is really dedicated for APLC. Sister Grace Kurumba, the Deputy Secretary General of UPF in Asia Pacific. Let us acknowledge the presence of Sister Grace Kurumba here. I'm introducing her in this the last moment of this program because she is one of the most hardworking sister to make this program successful. Miss Grace Kurumba. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Also the IT team.
Okay, of course I'm going there. Thank you very much all participants, the speakers, and most especially the technical staff and coordinators of each country to make this program possible today. Especially without the effort of our technical staff, it will be impossible to do this kind of Zoom and online conference. Looking forward to meet you again on the next session. Wishing you all a very fruitful APLC. Thank you very much. See you again.
Thank you, Santos.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.